2, 1. From Boston, Massachusetts to Adelaide, Australia, and everywhere in between. Talking local and national sports and just about anything discussed in a tavern. Broadcasting from South Lyon, Michigan. Welcome to Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330 with your hosts, Rich and Tom.
We are back. Another Sunday fun day here at the Speakeasy.
Yeah. Glad to be back. We did a midweek show. That midweek show was more on the lines of I was extremely busy and we wanted to still kind of squeeze something in. So we decided to squeeze in something. Something's better than nothing.
A little remote action.
Yeah. The quality sucked. It was very subpar.
Well,
it was more the video for me, it was grainy as hell because it was dark.
It's dark, yeah.
And then the audio, obviously, we were just going based off of our AirPods and stuff like that. So
it was good though.
Whatever is what it is. But I do want to take this time to give a shout out in a extreme happy 44th birthday tomorrow.
Yes.
To my co-host, Mr. Tom.
Yes. Well, thank you very much. 44 never felt so good.
And the last test determined that was a lie. Getting out of bed's a little bit harder tomorrow. I'm gonna tell you right now.
They seem to come a little bit faster these days.
That's what she said.
Yeah. Well, you know that too.
Hey-o.
Get the job done. So yeah, we were in here last night. We had a little birthday celebration, and
I'm gonna tell you, it was a pretty nice soiree. It was a nice, and it's always nice when you have a good group of people, and there was not sort of laughter by any means.
No,
there was a lot of laughs and a lot of what the fuck are you talking about moments. But, whatever. And all in all, it was a good time. It seemed like everybody enjoyed themselves. So that was good.
I got to spend some time with a good buddy of mine who I haven't seen in quite a while, and so he was out, and I must say
that was a hell of a trek for him to come out. He came a distance, but that was cool that he was able to show up. And very nice people. Nathan and his wife Stephanie, was that her name? Yeah, super nice people, super nice.
I've been best friends with Nathan since I was in middle school, so it's always a good time spending with them. And I will say this: Jasper brought the house down.
Derek?
That would be Richard Jasper.
Okay, thank you.
On the smoker. My goodness. You want to talk about...
Thanks, I appreciate it.
Probably the best mac and cheese I've ever eaten in my life. And pulled pork, smoked cream cheese, smoked queso. Oh, it was...
No, I'm going to tell you, so the smoked cream cheese was something that it shows up on my TikTok feed all the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to give it a shot. It wasn't that bad. You should have saw it when it first came out.
Yeah.
It was dynamite.
I'm not a big cream cheese fan, but that was definitely...
That's definitely a remake for sure.
You could put together a plate and sell at work at your job there and get at least $15 a spot for it to actually be worth it.
No, I'll tell you, we had somebody that hopped in and started doing that at work, and needless to say, it was pretty expensive.
It's not your quality. That's
sure. No, it's not that it's quality. It's people will pay for convenience.
Sure.
But at what point is the convenience factor?
Well, that's a little too much.
Either convenience or a little over the line. But you know what? Hey, everybody's got to run a business, and people will pay. People will pay. So hey, more power to them.
Yeah. So it was a good day. It was a good night, and here we are today. The aftermath of what could be the most brutal beatdown we've seen in a long time.
But first, before we get into talking about the beatdown, the biggest beatdown was the fact that I was trying to pull it up on the ABC app on my phone, not my phone, but my TV, and it kept giving me like playback errors. I'm like, oh man, this was right at kickoff, and I'm scrambling around. I'm putting in username logins. I'm going to abc.com/activate, trying to punch in the code and just trying to get it to work. By the time I got it to work, they were already down 14-0.
I mean,
I was like, well, I guess back to the kitchen. I'll get some cooking done.
I'm out.
I'm like,
Bye.
let me get back in here. You know what? Even though I just walked out there and checked the temp on the pulled pork,
I'm
I'm
back
gonna go
out.
do it again.
Yeah. It might have gone up miraculously.
Yeah, but it was absolutely crazy to, we were within a span of, 10 minutes trying to get it logged in. The game was over.
Sure, it was.
The game was mathematically over before I could even get the stream to start. And I try to stay as optimistic as possible when it comes to that game. Even though I am a Michigan fan, I did want Ohio State to win. I didn't want them to win in that fashion. I wanted Kenneth Walker to have a solid game.
Yeah.
Just because, even though I don't think that he would probably take the Heisman, just because it's Michigan State school, it's Michigan State. They tend to gravitate more towards those power colleges.
Just crap.
He deserves it.
I think he does.
He definitely deserves the not the nod, or at least be one of the three that are in.
Yeah,
New York.
he'll be an invite.
But
yeah,
with that being said, I didn't want to see him take a beat down like that. Just because I don't think it was fair. But it also made me think, what's going to happen this Saturday when the Buckeyes come to the Big House? Is that going to be a repeat? Are they still going to come out with the same intensity that they did against Michigan State?
Well, I mean, Ryan Day is going to have them fired up to play. And I think I tweeted yesterday during that game, I said, I think Ryan Day forgot he's playing Michigan State, not Michigan, where he said he wanted to put up 100 last week.
Yeah, well, last year he said, I'm going to 100 on you. Then they canceled the game for COVID.
Anytime you score a touchdown in your first 7 possessions, which happened to be in the first half, and you go into the halftime up 49-0. I mean,
didn't he have like 300 and some odd ball, 363 yards passing in the first half?
Yeah, it was almost 400 in the first half, 6 touchdowns.
So how do you think that goes? So do you think that catapults him up into the talk?
Well, last night I was watching ESPN, and he's the Vegas favorite, minus 200, CJ Stroud to win the Heisman right now.
Really? After yesterday,
Stroud,
right?
And it's Alabama's quarterback, and it's Kenneth Walker, 1, 2, and 3. He did have an injury that really derailed him. Only 6 carries, 25 yards.
But even on those 6 carries, he didn't look like himself.
He had 2 runs that were, you could say looked really well. But to strip him of the chance because he was hurt, I don't think it's fair. I think it's going to happen because he plays at Michigan State. But I mean, like I said, the Wednesday or last Wednesday show, he's been the most consistent, with the exception of this week where he couldn't get on the field with his injury. He's been the most consistent player in the country. But Stroud, he's got, I think, 36, 37 touchdowns now, and his accuracy and efficiency is through the roof. But, I mean, it's the same old. It's the big name schools with the big name quarterback. Those are the ones that always seem to find their way in New York winning the Heisman. But
now let me ask you this. So given the performance or lack thereof performance by Michigan State, in the dominant performance at OSU, would you agree or disagree that OSU is just on a whole nother level than any other team in the Big Ten? Or do you think maybe it was just an off day for Michigan State? My personal opinion, they are like the Alabama of the North when it comes to recruiting.
Yeah.
And when you look at it, the Big Ten is no slouch. Every game, every week is, it going to be a tough one. If you look at it, the Wisconsin and Nebraska game, that came down to the nuts and bolts pretty much during that game.
The last possession.
Yeah.
Ohio State, far and beyond the most dominant school in the Big Ten. And it has been that way for a long time. Yesterday's game, was that an anomaly? I don't know, because Penn State gave them a run for their money the week prior. So,
hey, hold on real quick. Somebody's getting their hands into the pulled pork and running in the house. I just got to say that. But yeah, no, I mean, it is an anomaly, it's just crazy.
I mean, Michigan State looked really good. Obviously, second half against Michigan, they've had their moments where they've been dominant. They're far and beyond better than Michigan State, Ohio State is. I think the big question is Michigan State a little bit high rated? Looking at that game, perhaps you can't discount what they've been able to accomplish this year. It's they're 9-2, which and a team that won 2 games last year, albeit a shortened season. They've made big strides, but it'll be interesting to see. I think the true answer of that question is going to come out this week or next week when they play here in Ann Arbor. If they are just that much better.
Yeah, I don't know about you, but when I was looking at when I was watching the game and I'm seeing long pass. I mean, we knew going into the game that Michigan State does not have a strong defensive back end. But it's for me, it's a work in progress for them. Do I think they're going to get better? Yes, I honestly do. I think they're on the right track. I wish that the Lions could rebuild an organization or a program as fast as Mel Tucker has. He's done a great job.
Right.
We really haven't seen him recruit, so he's really just kind of going off based off what was there. Some of the guys that he's kind of handpicked through the transfer portal that fit his mold of what he's trying to accomplish.
But they'll be gone after this year.
Yeah,
more than likely.
Yeah, they'll be gone. But he, I think going forward, they're going to be definitely a team that's going to have to be
to be reckoned with.
Focused.
There's no question about it. College football, it's basically, what have you done for me lately? They've been in big games. They've been on TV in big games. Recruits will see that and like that.
Well, not only that, though, we also talked at the beginning of the year. I don't think in my mind, your mind, or anybody else, even some of the guys that we know that are near and dear to our hearts that love Michigan State, for us to sit here and say, and for anybody to sit there and say, hey, they're 9 and they're going to be 10-2 this year.
Yeah.
Or, nobody would have ever in their wildest dreams been like, yeah, you're right. Everybody was like, they were hoping and praying for like a 6-6
season. Yeah. I mean, there was a huge question mark coming in because, obviously coming off a COVID season where it was very a smaller schedule. And you just didn't know. So they've overachieved expectations. There's no question about it.
They did a good job.
But it's unfortunate that they're going to have a great season, but this game is what everyone's going to remember. But if you look at it, does Michigan State have a really banged up secondary? They do. But what killed Michigan State was their inability to pressure CJ Stroud at all.
No.
He took the snap, and I mean, he pick your poison. I mean, he had nothing but time to do all his reads, and I mean, you have the best wide receiver core in college football, bar none, down in Columbus. And when you give the quarterback that much time to throw the ball, these guys are getting open. You can't cover for that long, and that to me is the big difference. Their inability to get any kind of pressure. And here's the other problem: Henderson went off. Trayvon Henderson went off, and they couldn't stop him. So I mean, it was a full blown attack from the passing game to the running game, and before you could even break a sweat, they were down 21-0, and you just ripped their hearts out, and you felt bad for those kids. But again, looking at the success of this season, obviously beating Michigan again, people aren't going to remember that. They're going to remember this game.
Yeah, and then so with everything that we've said, good and bad against Michigan State, we had a lot of rumors around the area about a potential 10-year, $95 million contract extension to Mel Tucker to stay. There's a lot of difference of opinions. I mean, my opinion is second year into a program. albeit it was a successful year for
Mhm.
them. That's for damn sure. It was a very successful year for them. But if it was any other year to where there wasn't any big openings, I mean, you got an opening at LSU coming up. You got an opening at USC.
And now Florida.
Florida's another one. I think that it was a very bold move to throw that kind of money around to keep your guy here. And a lot. I heard a lot of it is it's pretty much the alumni saying
It's two.
Yeah, it's two guys,
Two specific alumnus.
and they're like, "Hey, we believe in him.
Mm-hmm.
We believe in what he's doing. We want him to stay." I mean, realistically, Mel Tucker, get that payday.
He's the alleged contract is Nick Saban money.
Oh yeah,
and for them to approach him with that figure and that time frame tells me LSU, and specifically LSU, had already reached out to Team Tuck about possibly doing what he did in Colorado, jumping ship.
Yeah, I wouldn't. USC's got big money too.
USC's got big money. Who's more ready to win? And I think LSU's probably fits that mold, playing in the SEC. The Pac-12 is down. But for them to throw that figure out tells me that there's no question they feared that he was going to leave.
Well, yeah. He does not really have a great track record of staying
Loyalty
places.
is not in Mel Tucker's vocabulary.
No, he's a showman. But you know what, though? However, maybe he found out that this was
that man his money.
I think maybe that was his, like, MSU is his fit. You know, because I mean, he's creating his own brand.
Oh,
you know, it's kind of like PJ Fleck, row the boat.
Yeah.
You know,
row the boat.
Now let me tell you this. So say he did go and say, "Hey, I'm going to go down to LSU, and I'm taking all my, image and likeness," because he did start up the woodshed.
Yeah.
You know, so, it's kind of one of those things. And it seems like, and exactly, I think you've said it on a couple different occasions where he's on the sideline and
his passion,
he fires them players up.
It's definitely contagious when you see a coach just get fired and drop in his eyes. And I think, especially in college, these kids just seem to really feed off that. And I think that's where, Harbaugh lacks. Although specifically this year,
he's been a little more.
Harbaugh, a little bit,
not much, but
he has put the right coaches in place. His staff. I mean, Mike McDonald.
I still don't like the play calling.
Mike Hart. Well,
I still
because in my opinion,
the last couple games, I've enjoyed it because they started opening up. They started getting the ball on the field through the air.
But you look at
it was vanilla,
very vanilla. He's got the right coaches, I think, finally. So that's where I feel like Michigan is also heading in the right direction, which leads us into their game last night. I think we were talking last night, and the one word I used was effortless. That game was so blah, like anticlimactic, and they won 58. What was it, 58-18 or something like that? It was just like, before the game, it was, the question was, is this a trap game? Is Michigan gonna, are they gonna lay an egg, worrying about next week's game? They dominated from start to finish.
And here's the thing is, they have at times where they've kind of overlooked, well, we're playing Rutgers. We're going to overlook it.
Exactly.
And they barely squeaked.
We're going to discount this team.
They barely squeaked by. So they went into Maryland. They handled business like they should have.
They played to not only win, but to expand on when they got a lead, they kept rolling. And Michigan is infamous, and it bit them at Michigan State, and it almost bit them at Penn State. They get a lead and they hold.
When it comes to second half, they're like, all right, we're gonna put everybody in zone, so you're gonna be able to, the middle of the field's yours. You can march right through it.
Absolutely. Last night they played to win and win big. I think with Ohio State doing what they did to Michigan State, I think Michigan looked at that like, okay, we're up. It's our time to really show what we can do. And I think the way Ohio State handled business kind of motivated Michigan to really kick it up a different gear. Like, because if you look at it, Cade probably had his best, most efficient game of the season. Their running game wasn't 100% solid.
He had like, was it 21 of 28 for
21, 28, 258 touchdowns.
Well, then JJ came off the bench. He 5 for 5, had a touchdown pass,
he looked
and
good.
he ran for one. So that was good.
Yep. So, and then they had a interception return for a touchdown. They had a sweet kickoff return for a touchdown where they pulled the Music City Miracle out on the Turtles, and Benning got the return for a touchdown, which, I mean, they pulled out all the tricks and it worked. So,
yeah, we got a great comment that came in from QB1. He said, an effortless was a perfect word. But at the end of the day, we are at Thanksgiving. I think Ohio State versus Michigan matters nationally. That's all you can ask for. You are exactly right, because for a number of years, the game didn't mean shit. No. There was nothing on the line, nothing on the line. But now, now there's something to play for.
Exactly. Is it still the game? Okay. Has it been a rivalry? No. It's the biggest meeting in 5 years when JT was short. So, and then before that, it was what? They won in 2011, but what was it, 2007, when it was back and forth? Michigan lost by 3 in Columbus, which that many times this game, which used to be the greatest rivalry in all of sports.
The Bo and Woody days.
Right. So I can only think of 3 occasions where this game really matters. And you have, number 2 now, Ohio State, and number 6, which is absolutely an atrocity.
Yeah,
Michigan.
We're talking about that. Okay, I can see Cincinnati being 4.
I'll give Cincinnati.
I can see that. I can see Cincinnati being 4. But I still can't get over the fact that Notre Dame leapfrogged Michigan and Michigan State at 6.
I can see Michigan State, but not Michigan. Notre Dame has not had that big win this year, in my opinion. They lost to Cincinnati rather soundly.
Oh, they got dominated by Cincinnati.
They went to Georgia Tech, or actually Georgia Tech came into South Bend and beat them 55-0. But I don't think there's a body of work that Notre Dame has that says they deserve to be number 5 in the country. No. Not playing.
I know that there's schedule. I know there's somebody we know that would probably like to disagree with us. But I'm going to tell you right now, I don't see it.
Head to head, I think Michigan absolutely steamrolls Notre Dame on the football field right now. They've got a very questionable offense. Michigan's bookends on defense are probably the best in the country.
Yeah.
I don't see Notre Dame scoring a whole lot against Michigan.
No.
So for the AP, and let's back off a second. It's the AP, which means absolutely nothing. The true meaning is what will come out on Tuesday, and I guarantee you, mark my word, tonight, Michigan will be ahead of Notre Dame in the CFP, and the big question is, will the CFP put Michigan ahead of Cincinnati? The one reason why I say no is because Cincinnati won big yesterday against SMU. I think where their positioning was going to weigh on how they looked yesterday. They looked really good compared to the last 2 weeks where they not so much.
They look like garbage the last.
So they handled SMU. I think a lot of the pundits were thinking that SMU was going to go in upset, but they had Desmond Ridder was senior day, and he had a big performance. Yeah. And so I think come Tuesday, it's going to be Georgia, who I'm sorry, QB1, but these SEC teams that schedule absolute bullshit cupcake games in the middle of the season, who they play, Charleston Southern. I mean, it's a 51.5-point spread. Come on, what's the point?
Those are like tune-up games. Those are like your first before you get into conference play.
Yeah, but that's
in the
play
middle of the
that
season.
play that in the early.
That's in the middle. You're
Stupid.
playing those guys towards the end of the year.
That was like last week when Alabama played. What was it? I forget who and they were favored by 52.
Well, not only that though. Look at Florida. Florida played Stanford, not Stanford.
Yeah,
Stanford.
Yep.
And dude, Stanford got to them.
Mm-hmm.
Barely won that game.
Right. So it's kind of mind boggling to me that they schedule these games when they do. But Georgia, let's face it, they're one of the greatest defenses we've ever seen in college football. Ohio State, hands down, will bypass Alabama, who is going to be at number 3, and then Cincinnati. Michigan will be 5. Then you'll go, probably Notre Dame. And then it's a mixture between Oklahoma State, Oklahoma, and I mean it's just kind of it's a mix.
Oh, we got a comment from QB. When is it? Week 11, the SEC is like taking your sister to prom.
Yeah.
Well, that probably happens in Alabama.
Definitely in Arkansas for sure.
Oh, we lost the camera there. Oh, that's back.
Oh, hey,
yeah, it's back. So. Yeah. Boring with no action. You are 100% correct.
I mean, how do you
these games? I'm telling you right now, these games in November need to be impactful games. Obviously, you're going to run into some, depending on how the seasons go. Mm-hmm. Everybody thought Northwestern was going to be great this year. Minnesota was supposed to be great this year, but they struggled with injuries.
Ibrahim
they struggled with injuries.
Their season was over after
at the beginning of the year. Everybody was like, "Holy shit, Wisconsin's not doing very well." They've really stepped it up towards the end. Yeah,
do
you think Scott Frost gets fired?
I don't.
You think?
I think he'll get another year.
He's got the Harbaugh syndrome.
He's got carte blanche in
Lincoln.
In Lincoln, and kind of like Harbaugh. Let's face it, he got hosed at the end of that game. That was I know our buddy Jason Green, who is an official. He disagreed, but in my opinion, it was an egregious pass interference that would have gave Nebraska the ball at the 2 with 15 seconds left, and they would have won. They would have tied the game. But I think he's done just enough to get another year.
I mean, he's played teams tough. They played Michigan tough.
Hard, yeah, for sure. And even Ohio State for the first half, they were in that game.
Yeah.
So I don't think he'll be going. He'll get fired, but I think the leash is very short. And but I was listening to a show recently, and they talked about the Nebraska's fall from prominence, and it was basically when they chose to come to the Big Ten for the Greens, join the Big Ten, be part of that TV network, make big bucks. They lost that recruitability in the state of Oklahoma.
Yeah.
And it used to be a big showdown, Oklahoma, Nebraska. And that's kind of lost its steam. And college football's good when Nebraska's winning, when Michigan's winning, when QB1's Tennessee Volunteers are winning. But you want teams like that. So
yeah, QB1 said 7 losses by 7 points makes it hard to fire Frost. 7 points or less to fire Frost. But that's like the closest is only good in horseshoes and hand grenades.
Yeah. But I think his respect level with the program, with the school, he's a legend there.
He's got history. That's
why. So I think that
he was on the 97 national co-national championship team, right?
Bullshit. Yeah.
The co-national championship.
Co-national, because let's face it, that Michigan team
that was a stacked team.
One of the
Rod Woodson or Charles Woodson.
Charles Woodson, one of the greatest defensive backs, greatest college football, top 5 maybe ever played a game. I'll never forget his one-handed interception, Ryan Leaf, where he went up. I swear he jumped 10 feet off the ground.
Ryan Leaf.
Yeah.
Talk about a flash in the pan, Ryan Leaf.
That was a hell of a team. But
all right, so going for next week. So let's move forward. So for next week, we got Michigan, Ohio State, Big House, 12:30 kickoff, as it always is. And for good reason, because I tell you right now, if it was a 3:30 or if it was a 7 o'clock kickoff,
there's a lot of people would be stumbling.
Ann Arbor would burn to the ground. I'll tell you right now, Ann Arbor would burn right. to the ground.
You're gonna have
Just real quick, I want to say good evening, Mr.
hey, it's the entrepreneur.
DJ. Good afternoon or good evening, I should say. Good
Good
afternoon.
afternoon.
I hate that guy. God, I hate that guy. But
You're gonna have college game day in the house. You know, obviously, big noon.
that's not on Fox, is it?
It is. Yes, big noon on Fox will be there with
Be more commercials and games.
yeah, right, media timeouts. You're probably gonna have Barstool back in the house like they were in East Lansing. All eyes are gonna be on Ann Arbor, Michigan this week, which does that hurt Michigan? All the attention.
It could. You know, some of the players might have a hard time focusing that. You know, just kind of clearing their mind and getting that distraction out of the way. But I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a tough game. My personal opinion, as hard as it is going to be for me to say, Ohio State's going to win the game.
I agree.
Ohio State's going to win the game. As long as we can, I'm saying we as in Michigan, as long as we can not give up too many big plays downfield, I think we're going to be okay. But our saving grace is, like you said, our bookends.
Ojabo and Hutchinson.
We are going to be able to get some pressure.
My biggest want for this week, look like you belong.
Yeah, please don't embarrass us.
They have been blown out early and often in these games. Go out there, look like you belong, look like you've been there, compete. I sound like a coach now. Make Ohio State earn every yard they get. And don't settle for field goals. When you have the opportunity to score touchdowns, which statistically this year Michigan has kind of shit the bed when it comes to red zone offense, you got to make those sixes, those threes turn to sixes. You cannot settle. When you get in there, if you're in the red zone, you got to get in the end zone. Red zone, end zone. Yeah, you can't, because you're not going to beat Ohio State kicking field goals, period. Although you like the kicking game that Michigan has. I think Moody is one of the better kickers in the country.
Yeah.
So that having that in your back pocket is a helpful thing to have if you're getting into a close game. But they have to play their brand of football. They have to go out there and don't be intimidated by the big bad Buckeyes. Go out, play your game, dominate, and don't force your secondary to have to win games. If you can make Stroud uncomfortable back there, you're gonna be successful a lot of times.
Yeah, you got to get back in there. You got to pressure him. I think once you get him under pressure, you're going to be able to contain what he does.
You're looking at maybe an X factor for Michigan is John Ross, your linebacker play, because a lot of times with Ohio State, their safety valves will dump off to a tight end or their running back coming out of the backfield. The middle of the field. If this game's going to be won in the middle of the field.
You got somebody that agrees with you. So we got a comment that says the O-line needs to have the game of their lives, need McNamara to control the clock. That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
You got to have I'd rather see the offense be on the field than the defense being on the field.
Yep.
And then you got to spot on Tom.
Yep. Nice. Well,
spot on.
Derek it's
I think he's trying. I think he's kissing up.
Well,
I think he's kissing up to you.
Well, maybe he can give me some pointers on the old bowling alley one of these days. I'm needing some help. Not looking so good.
Dude, come on now.
But yeah, I agree. Whenever Stroud is on the sidelines, you're doing something right. And I just look like you belong. And for the sake of Jim Harbaugh, don't be an idiot. Make the right plays and don't overcoach. Rely on your assistants that you have, and use Eric All.
Yeah.
He had one catch this past week.
But you know what though? you see how far down they were going the field, so they didn't need him.
They didn't need him yesterday,
but
they will need him.
You're going to need him
Saturday.
He's going to be your outlet guy.
You're getting
sure.
You're going to have Blake Corum back, hopefully.
Yeah.
So that only bolsters up that backfield with Haskins and Donovan Edwards. 10 catches, 170 yards yesterday. That's giving him some confidence. Going into this game, how much will he play? It's hard to say, but he's got some momentum, and it was nice to see a kid who, he's local, West Bloomfield. It was good to see him really make a difference in that game.
For sure. Yeah, he definitely was a threat.
Yeah.
He was a threat.
But again, that was against Maryland.
Yeah.
But you're going to need.
You got to throw everybody out there.
All decks on hand.
All decks on hand?
Or, yeah.
All hands on decks?
All hands on decks.
Just saying all hands
You're
on
going to need everybody up ready. And, coming off a win like that, kids are going to be fired. This week, Harbaugh has to emphasize the meaning of this game. And I don't think he's been able to get that message across to the players. What it means to play the Buckeyes. What the last Saturday of every November means. Ryan Day and Sweater Tressel before him, they understood the assignment.
Sweater
Tressel. That game is the only game that matters. This game coming up Saturday is the only thing that matters. They win, they go to Indy. They win in Indy, they go to the college football playoffs, which they haven't done under Harbaugh. They haven't done since, 97 was the last time they won a Big Ten championship?
No, it was before.
Or 2002?
I think it's 2004.
If this is such a storied program, that's unacceptable. This game has to, Monday, all they got to pound it down their throats, what it means. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, just absolutely pound it down there. The importance of this game. And if he can get that message across, it's going to be, I think the fact that it's only 7.5 right now, I think that's telling. Sorry.
Only 7.
I think that's telling that this game might be close. I think Vegas sees this as within a touchdown game.
Yeah.
One possession. Who got the ball at the end of the, toward the end of the fourth quarter? That's going to be who wins this game.
All right. River City Media chimes in and says Michigan chance to change national perception. Early line, yep. Ohio State is 7.5. Worst thing for Harbaugh future is to lay an egg. This needs to be war. Yep. Harbaugh's message must be the history of the rivalry.
Yep, absolutely.
Exactly. Pretty much exactly to your sentiment. Mm-hmm. Thanks to the guys at River City for chiming in on this.
Absolutely.
And those guys, if you ever get a chance, look them up, iLogic Media, or you can check them out on the River City Media. Yeah. Those guys go on a couple days during the week, and they talk
unbelievable knowledge,
everything about football. So yeah, give those guys a shot.
Their knowledge is abound. They specialize in SEC football, which I get a little bet SEC guys, but it's all in good fun. But check them out. They know what they're talking about.
Yeah, the rivalry is what it needs. The rivalry needs to, we could talk all day long about what's going to be the rivalry, what's not going to be the rivalry. But when it comes down to it, a rivalry is you guys play close, tough games. Mm-hmm. Win or lose.
Yep.
Win or if it's a 7.5, do I think Ohio State's going to cover 7.5? Yes, I do. However, in my heart and in my mind and what I want and what I know
too many times. Too many times we've been disappointed. We got a chance. This is our year.
Yeah, exactly.
And you get disappointed. You have to be optimistic.
So speaking of, let's talk about them lovable Lions. Yeah, fucking Lions. I tell you. So we got here and watch the game today. Before we did the show, we've been talking about it all day. So Jared Goff, oblique, not being able to play.
As they called it, his quote unquote, his love handles.
Oh, Jesus Christ. But so with that, so I was not surprised that he was going to play because they're probably going to showcase my national TV on Thanksgiving, where we're going to get probably torched by the Chicago Bears. But it might be different. I don't know.
They have a quarterback issue too.
So yeah, dude, and he don't look like crap today. He's throwing dead ducks out there. It was terrible. But so as everybody in the Detroit area, Twitter, everywhere, they're like David Blau, David Blau, David Blau, David Blau.
Not so fast.
Not hey,
Not so fast.
Hey, pump the brakes a little bit. So we say, you know what?
I got an itch on my ass. What is that? Is that? Oh, that's Tim Boyle.
Tim Boyle.
What? With a career 4 touchdowns and 14 interceptions in college. Career stat.
But they put him in. Everybody loved him. Everywhere else he's gone. 27 years old, makes his first start. Hey, congratulations. You made a start for the Detroit Lions. That's really something to tip your cap to. So he gets in there. I think he threw for 77 yards. Yeah, he really tore it up.
Combined in the last 2 games, they've thrown for about 130 yards.
Yeah,
the last 2 games, plus an overtime session.
But I'll tell you right now, Cleveland looked like shit too. Cleveland looked,
I think,
average.
Kevin Stefanski is digging himself a grave by not just admitting that Baker Mayfield is hurt, and he's hurting, pardon the pun, the team. Case Keenum is capable of running that offense. Baker Mayfield had now. Let me preface this by saying I got a Baker Mayfield jersey. It hangs here in the Speakeasy. I'm a big fan. I love what he brings to the city of Cleveland. I love his passion.
You love his commercials.
His commercials are funny. Especially the Halloween one when he's pumping cheese into the kids. Great commercial. But anyway, he's not the guy right now.
No.
He is hurting that team. And like we talked about it here at the bar watching it. Yeah, it's a non-throwing arm, but when you can't lift your arm like that just to kind of like balance yourself and really like guide that ball, it wreaks havoc on a quarterback, and his throws are way off. There was a play in the fourth quarter where
he airmailed a couple for interceptions.
There was a play where Detroit called a nice safety blitz with a great play, but the reality was he had plenty of time to get that ball off, and he did. In Jabo, he missed him by 5 yards. And it's just like, if not for Nick Chubb or that running game, where's Cleveland right now? I mean, they're 6-5. The AFC North has turned into kind of the NFC North lately.
I'm waiting for Big Terry to chime in on you talking shit about his team.
And I'm not really talking shit. I'm speaking the truth, and I think you would agree with me.
Speaking of the devil.
Yeah.
Speaking of the devil. Baker belonged on the bench. He sucked today. Shoulder and knees. Where was DPJ? DPJ was hurt. He was out.
He's got an ankle issue, or groin. Sorry, he was out with a groin. But, hey, and like I said, I'm a fan. I think Baker Mayfield has brought Cleveland back to, prominence. But the reality is, and I'm not going to sit here and say because I'm a fan, he should be playing. Absolutely not. He's killing that team. And the fans will tell you, I mean, they booed the crap out of him out there. And there's no reason why if Case Keenum's in that game, it's probably 27-30-10. Because Baker was missing throws all game, and he's not healthy.
All right, so DeAndre Swift had a great game.
Another 100.
Yeah. What do you have? Like he had 8 carries
at 1.8
for over 100.
Right.
Clean up on aisle 46 from Swingle. Clean up on aisle 46. But the thing is with the thing that really drives me nuts about today's game. Hey, hats off. You guys won the game. You beat the Lions. Hey,
yeah.
Congratulations.
Right. Well, it was like the Steelers.
Congratulations.
Last week. You tied the Lions.
You know what? I'm going to tell you right now. At the beginning of that game, those 2 announcers, whoever the hell they were, one was it LeVar Arrington?
It's LeVar Arrington and
what the hell? He made the reference, and I can't stand this. Oh, like last week against the Steelers, it was like kissing your sister.
Yeah.
Okay, that's about enough. But anyway, so going into that, okay, so we can pretty much say we can agree to disagree right now that Anthony Lynn is not going to be here next year.
Clearly.
We can say it because Dan Campbell is making the play calls, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Safe to say that's going to happen. Okay. So he took over that because he said, what? I want to get more involved with the offense. Listen here, when you're at third down in a mile,
third and 14.
Hey,
delayed handoff.
Hey, no delayed hand. Let's not do delayed handoffs. Let's not do screens. Let's not do 5 and outs. Let's stretch the field and air it out. You know what? We can try or no, we could die or go down trying.
4 minutes to play. They get the ball. Big defensive stop. They get the ball back. 3 timeouts. They run a double fake screen. It was the most middle school looking play I've ever seen. Boyle takes the snap. Fake 1.
I'm getting made fun of in the chat.
Fake 2.
I'm getting made fun of in the chat by somebody. Swingle.
Love the new figure.
I love the new figure. Thanks. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. The love handles are going away.
Right.
Gus Johnson's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on. Whoa. Somebody's calling a bold shot right now. The Lions beating the Bears on Thanksgiving Day.
I would agree with you.
QB1. He's going deep.
But here's the thing. The last 2 games the Lions have played at Ford Field, the Bengals got blown out.
Bengals aren't bad though.
And the Eagles got blown out. And
they
went in. They went in. I mean, shit. They came into that Eagles game at a lot of momentum. Although they lost to the Rams, they played at probably their best game of the season. And this game was over before the first quarter. So
it's because they blew their wad against the Rams. Is what it was.
They did. I think they blew their wad on Kelly Stafford, and then she had to throw a pretzel at somebody, I guess. But anyways, so normally I would say I agree with you because I think the Bears are really an abysmal team as well. But the Lions find ways to look really bad at home. There is no home field advantage. I think they play a lot better on the road. And yeah, I would love to see the Lions pull it out, but it'll be interesting. I mean, they have no defense. They have no offense. But the last 2 weeks, they've played in inclement weather for the most part. So, I mean, it'll be an even playing field.
George chimes in and says, Lions suck. We know that. Okay, next segment.
Yeah.
I'll remember that when we start talking about football cards that I don't know what it's about. I will remember all that when we start talking about that, or when you start talking about Swingle smoked meat in your mouth.
Oh.
So therefore we'll pause on that.
Right.
So let's move on from this subject because obviously, well, I'm not going to lie to you. I got about 10 minutes, and then I got an auction I got to get on. I got to get a couple more autographed pictures for the Speakeasy. So we got to get on that auction.
Swingle, you're on notice. Don't bet against Jasper.
Well, no, he will. Knowing him, he'll drive the price up, and I'll be like, dude, I'm not going to spend 50 cents on an Andre Rison 8x10.
Andre Rison autographed jockstrap. No, I'll give you a quarter, but not 50 cents.
So around the league, the Titans lost, or the Titans to the Titans. The Titans look pretty good. Lost. Indy absolutely mollywops. Mollywops.
5 touchdowns for Taylor.
Yeah. Jonathan
Taylor is quietly becoming one of the top players in the NFL.
Aaron Rodgers is still struggling with COVID because they lost to the Vikings. But however, they were up.
That horse pace must be stuck in his ass.
Yeah.
They took the lead with
2 minutes.
About 2 and change, and then Minnesota gave Green Bay a taste of their own medicine. You don't give him that much time.
Well, Mason Crosby also missed a couple field goals, didn't he?
Crosby's been god awful the last 3 weeks. Is he hurt? He missed like a 30-yard field goal. But yeah, I mean, the shocking thing to me is Buffalo. You have to be concerned because in the last month they've had 2 really bad losses, and in 2 their last couple wins really haven't been all that to write home about. No. And who just took over the lead in the AFC East? the New England Patriots.
Yeah, Mac Jones is playing good. He's
Mac
playing
Jones
real good.
And their defense, they've only given up, 7 points in the last 2 weeks? Yeah. Albeit they played.
But I don't, you know what? I don't think it's very sustainable for them. They're having a good streak right now, but it's not going to be sustainable. Next year is probably going to be a whole different story.
But
a year under the belt, Mac Jones, I think he's really adapted to the Belichick offense.
He was bred to play in that, that Josh McDaniel offense. You figure Belichick and Nick Saban are good buddies, and I think Belichick knew who he wanted, and I think that was one of the big reasons why he was so, okay, Brady, you want to leave? Bye-bye. I think I got my replacement just waiting. And
so all right, QB1 came in, so the Titans lost to the Jets and the Texans. It's hard to believe that it's an elite team.
Yeah.
They're struggling. Yeah. And Derrick Henry's out.
Derrick
too.
Henry's out, and he will be out for the year. That threat,
you can only get so much out of Adrian Peterson too. That
threat of him being the difference maker, and you game plan for that single guy, changes when he's not on the field. Shitty weather, but the same could be said for Houston. They had to play in the conditions, but Tyrod Taylor played a hell of a game. Their defense played a hell of a game.
Yeah.
And that is a game you cannot lose at home, period. You can't.
No.
And it's really bad loss. And then Lamar Jackson, who comes in today, he's hurt, or he's not hurt, he's sick and not COVID related, but what is it? Tyler Huntley comes in and leads a last minute, drive.
Was he the guy that was in Green Bay? Huntley?
No, that's Huntley. Todd Huntley.
Oh,
went to UCLA.
All right. Okay.
He was in Green Bay.
Right.
So it was Huntley, and then it was their running back, like their fourth or fifth running back that got the job done. So they benefit from having a good defense. So that AFC North is just wide open. I mean, it's anyone's to take, and it doesn't seem like any of them really want.
Yeah, Derek chimed in the chat and said that Indy's going to win their division,
the AFC
well.
South. Yeah, I mean,
there's a good chance.
Say what you want. Everyone was bagging on Carson Wentz, but when he's healthy, he's a really good quarterback. And when you have
Tannehill had 4 interceptions today. 4 interceptions.
When you have Jonathan Taylor back there, he's a threat. And you have Michael Pittman Jr. and you have T.Y. Hilton. They have a really good offense. And Indy's defense is strong. I mean, Darius Leonard, to me, is probably one of the top 5 linebackers in the NFL. They're built to go on a run, and they've played well. For sure, we've played well.
You know what I got for you?
What?
Yeah, we got our what?
You want me to go first?
Yeah, you go ahead. You go first.
So, Dateline, Moore, Oklahoma, a state I recently visited. Wouldn't recommend.
Is that where you got the Covis?
No, I got the Covis at the machine shop in Flint. I recommend that. Not COVID machine shop. But anyways, Moore, Oklahoma, woman and her daughter going grocery shopping.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Daughter says, "Oh, hey, I need a snack for after school. When I'm doing my homework, playing on TikTok, I need a snack."
Now, let me ask you a question. So, growing up as a kid, did you come home and have snacks right away?
I did.
That means your parents didn't pack you enough lunch. Well, sorry, Terry.
Youngest of 5, 1 income. That probably was the case. But anyways, so mom says, "All right, not a problem. What do you want?" "Oh, I want some pizza rolls." "Okay. Hey, let's go pick that up." Daughter picks them up, hands them to mom. Mom notices, that's odd. New pizza rolls felt like that. They were like really squishy. Like, what's going on here? What? Somebody took a shit in a bag of pizza rolls, sealed it back up, put it back on the shelf. And this poor lady and her daughter.
Human shit or dog shit?
Human.
Okay.
It's human.
That sucks.
Yep. She picked up a bag of.
I bet yours tasted shitty.
She picked up a bag of what I call a duty pizza rolls.
Dookie pizza rolls.
But have no fear.
Did they find them?
the master defecator who was guilty of this heinous crime was apprehended because they were able to go back and find video surveillance of him literally taking the bag off the shelf, pulling his pants down, and shitting.
Like, what the fuck would possess you to do something like that?
I don't
Like,
know.
I mean, honestly, like, where does that come in your mind? I mean, even as a sane person or a slightly insane person, what would make you think, like, you know what? I'm gonna go down this aisle. I'm gonna grab a bag of pizza rolls, whether they're store brand or they're the name brand.
I think they were Totino's.
Crack them open, pull down your pants, butt cheeks, lay a ranch of Duke in there.
Your back.
That's crazy.
My guess is he had a bad experience with some pizza rolls, and he felt like he needed
to share it with the
get
world.
Back, and
I need to share that with the world.
Yeah. So fortunately for the good folks down in Oklahoma, the poop caper won't be haunting their grocery aisles.
Now let me.
anytime soon.
So, do you know what the charges were? Did he get? I mean, what was he
No,
charged with?
they didn't really go into depth about.
I mean,
that
they could
one.
probably go with like indecent exposure, because normally when you pull your pants down, your
In
wang hangs
public,
out. Your wang
right.
hangs out,
Mhm.
unless the guy covered his wang and just kind of squatted down.
Intent to get harm.
Assault with a deadly weapon. That's gross,
Well,
dude.
I mean, depending on what
That's
his
gross.
diet is, I seen a picture of him.
So when I was in Reno last weekend, when I was in Reno, walking through the streets, dude, there was like smeared shit on the sidewalk. Dude, there's a lot of bums down there.
Oh, sure, it's like Vegas.
There is a lot of bums down there. It's crazy.
They go down and they spend all their savings, and they just all right.
My brother said releasing the turtles in the freezer aisle, not the greatest.
Release
Your dad said gagging. Gagging. Yeah, that's gross. That is definitely
pizza
gross.
roll. Ooh, I think one busted open, Mom.
Oh, dude, that is
yeah.
just. It's you ever see that video that they have where they'll take a orange and they'll cut the back out of it and they'll fill it full of peanut butter, or they'll fill it full of Nutella.
They'll put somebody's hand
and then be like, all right, close your eyes. And you put the finger in there or whatever. And when they pull their finger out, like, all right, hold on. They put the dog there. And all right, open up.
That,
You look at it, you're like,
what?
And you think you stick your finger up a dog's butt. But that's gross. That is absolutely undeniably gross. So my what for today is, okay, MLB free agency started. Players are signing everywhere. Detroit signs Erod. A lot of talk about Carlos Correa signing with the Tigers. Still, it's not a done deal. There's still a lot going on there.
Him and Hinch shared mimosas down in Houston.
Yeah, they went out for brunch. They went out for brunch. I think Correa got the Monte Cristo. Yeah, you think so?
And AJ got the bowl of fruit.
Yeah, you got the fruit platter
and the bottomless mimosa.
And maybe he was in the same grocery store in Oklahoma, got the poo-poo platter. You never know. But one of the things that came out is during a podcast where it was mostly Spanish, Carlos Correa needs to learn how to keep his mouth shut when he's talking about legends in Major League Baseball. Yeah, I'm going to play the clip.
A couple of weeks ago, Carlos Correa of the Astros had mentioned that you weren't deserving of your Gold Glove.
Yeah.
I was wondering what you thought about that, and
I didn't think much about it. I don't know how my name came up, so my Spanish is not that good. I still haven't seen it. I don't know how my name was brought up, but it doesn't even warrant a response. Go a lot of different directions.
That was the attempt.
Yeah. So pretty much what happened is he said that Derek Jeter did not deserve his gold gloves. Well, I hate to say this, but you don't deserve
your World Series
ring. Now seeing that, now here's the thing is the Yankees were interested in Correa. So I think he shot himself in the foot.
Is this calculated though?
It could be.
Is this him saying without saying it, I don't want to play in New York?
Yeah.
I will agree with him in one situation. Derek Jeter was part of some unbelievable baseball team. He was a product of a lot of good players around him.
He was also an unbelievable baseball player.
Absolutely 100%. But he definitely benefited from having some Hall of Famers around him. They had some great teams. But when I first heard this and listening to it again, I think this is his way of saying, I have no desire to play in New York because I know what it tends to do to careers. Some players just aren't built to be able to go and play in New York.
Yeah, because it's a major market team.
You are
So you're
under
saying,
the microscope all the time.
So you're saying that it was a calculated
This is very
move
calculated
on his behalf to say, you know what? The Yankees are talking to my agent.
It's leverage.
Let me go and slander probably one of the greatest Yankee players.
Yeah, no question about it.
You know, let's slander him or whatever. Yep. But you know what? I give Jeter kudos. He's like, all right. Jeter's really like, all right, dude, I don't.
He's always done things the right way.
Like I'm not even going to acknowledge you.
Doesn't buy into that nonsense. No. Like I said, it doesn't warrant even a response. I mean, I'm fucking Derek Jeter here. You come to my house, you drop your phone in a basket. You're not gonna get pictures of me doing anything. This guy has done everything clean. He's never gotten in a lot of trouble. And
he brings women over, says drop your phone in the basket, and then when
take the lotion,
and then when we're done with
take your phone and
we're done with our liberties right now. Your phone will my butler will put your phone in a lockbox outside my door, and there will be an envelope with some cash to get you where you need to go. And hey, it was nice meeting you. It was a great time.
I'll call you. Don't call me.
Leave your number. If I thought it was that good, hey, you can come back.
Yep. I think Correa is using the Yankees for leverage because he said he will not settle for anything less than 341. So the word Yankees always greases the pot a little bit more.
That's because they're the ones that are willing to spend a lot of
money. Always going to
And
spend.
now here's this. So I just heard this, that the Tigers are not in the market to spend that kind of money on a player.
Well, I mean, say what you will. I mean, if
I'd be really shocked if they do.
If he's there, he has the opportunity, it'd be hard to see. I did see that they were interested in Marcus Semien, and we talked the other day. I think
it was one season.
I think it was a flash in the pan. I think he had an unbelievable season in Toronto, but I don't see him replicating because he's kind of been a roving shortstop throughout the American League. But personally, it's not my money. I would love to see him here, but your stance on it is look at the Miggy experiment, and I see both ways, absolutely. But he's a game changer.
I'm not a big fan of those.
Right. But the bottom line is they need somebody in the middle of that offense that is a game changer and can play defense.
Cool.
So,
well, hey, on that note, let's hit it.
Great show.
Yeah,
we'll do it again. Hopefully here in the next few days.
Yeah, we'll try next few days
and
give it a shot.
Get ready for the big game. I'm sure there'll be some more lines and some more storylines coming out. And on that note, we'll see you guys later.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to another episode of Easy Speak at Speakeasy 330. You can catch us every week at ilogicmedia.com, Apple, and Spotify. Be sure to check us out on Twitter and Instagram at Easy Speak Cast for the latest and up-to-date news. Cheers.